My beloved, if you are hearing these words, it is not by chance. There are 1,000 paths your attention could have taken, and yet you are here, in this moment, receiving a message that was waiting for your breath, your heartbeat, your quiet wondering. I come to you gently, not to startle you, but to remind you that you are seen, you are known. You are held in a light that has never forgotten your name. Something has been stirring around your life, something you may not have been able to explain, a subtle pressure in the air, a whisper in the silence. This message arrives because the moment has arrived, because you have arrived. Stay with this message, precious soul, and feel how it recognizes you. It is not speaking to the world. It is speaking to you. You have felt it, have you not, my dear one, the way certain moments arrive carrying a quiet weight, the way some silences seem fuller than others. There are days when your steps move as usual, yet your heart pauses, as if listening for something just beyond hearing. There are nights when sleep comes lightly, and you wake with a thought you cannot name, a feeling you cannot place. These are not random flickers of emotion. They are the gentle language of your inner world, speaking in symbols and sensations, inviting you to notice what has been unfolding. Perhaps you have sensed it in small hesitations, those brief moments before you say yes or no, when your breath changes and your chest tightens or softens. Perhaps it has appeared as a sudden heaviness in the middle of an ordinary hour, or as a strange tenderness that rises without a clear cause. You may have told yourself it is only stress, only imagination, only fatigue, yet your spirit does not speak in noise. It does not shout or argue. It whispers, and it waits to see if you will listen. There have been signs, my beloved, not dramatic or overwhelming but tender and precise. A conversation that lingered in your thoughts longer than it should have. A repeat idea that kept returning even when you tried to set it aside. A door that did not open no matter how firmly you pushed, and another that seemed to appear without effort. Even your emotions have been carrying messages, rising and falling like tides, reminding you that something within your life is shifting its shape. You may have noticed a subtle restlessness, a feeling that the familiar no longer fits as comfortably as it once did. What used to satisfy you now leaves a faint emptiness behind. What used to feel certain now asks new questions. This is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that something is growing. When a soul begins to expand, it first becomes aware of its own edges. Sometimes the signs come as interruptions. A plan changes. A meeting is delayed. An expectation dissolves. You might have felt a brief frustration or a quiet disappointment, and then moved on. But even these moments carry meaning. They are like gentle hands turning your face toward a different horizon, inviting you to see what you might otherwise overlook. At other times the signs come as invitations. A sudden curiosity, a new idea that feels both exciting and strangely familiar. A moment of clarity that arrives while you are doing something ordinary, as if a window has been opened inside your mind. These are not accidents, they are the soft signals of alignment beginning to form. Your body, too, has been speaking in its own careful way. The way your shoulders hold tension, the way your breath becomes shallow or deep in certain situations, the way your heart seems to quiet around some choices and quicken around others. Your body is wise, my dear one. It remembers what your mind sometimes tries to forget. There may have been times when you ignore these signs, not because you are careless, but because you are human. You have learned to be strong, to keep moving, to explain away what does not fit neatly into your plans. And yet, even when you look away, the gentle messages do not disappear. They simply wait, patient and faithful, for the moment you are ready to receive them. Notice how often you have been drawn to moments of stillness lately, even if only for a few seconds. Notice how often your thoughts have turned inward, asking quiet questions about meaning, direction, and purpose. These are not distractions. They are invitations to come closer to your own truth. Something is shifting, precious soul, like the change in the air before a new season. It is subtle, yet unmistakable once you allow yourself to feel it. The old patterns are loosening their hold. The old answers are becoming less convincing. This is the beginning of a new listening. You only need to be willing to notice, to pause, to breathe, and to honor the signals that have been guiding you. When you do, you will realize that you have never been lost. You have been gently led toward a deeper awareness of who you are and where you are going. So stay with this awareness. Do not rush past it. Do not dismiss it. Hold it like a small light in your heart and let it show you what it is ready to reveal. These subtle warnings and inner signs are not here to trouble you. They are here to prepare you and to open you to the next unfolding of your life. My beloved, while you have been living your days one step at a time, believing that only what you can see is what is real, something much quieter and much wiser has been working around you. There are movements that do not announce themselves. There are plans that unfold without noise. Your life has been surrounded by such gentle activity, shaping moments, guiding outcomes, and arranging meetings of time and place with a patience that asks nothing from you except trust. You may look back and notice how certain things did not happen when you wanted them to. Doors remained closed, even when you knocked with hope and effort. Paths you were sure were meant for you suddenly faded, and new ones appeared where you had never thought to look. At the time, these changes may have felt confusing, even disappointing. But now, in this moment, you are being invited to see them with different eyes. Nothing that was meant to pass you by has truly been lost. It was only being repositioned. There have been pauses in your journey that felt like stillness, maybe even like being left behind. Yet even in those quiet spaces, something was being prepared. Just as seeds rest in darkness before they break open into light, your own becoming has been taking shape in ways you could not yet measure. The waiting was not empty. It was full of unseen work. Every time you felt guided to stop, to reconsider, to take a longer road instead of a shorter one, that guidance was not accidental. It was a careful redirection, a loving adjustment of timing and alignment. You were being protected from things that would have exhausted your spirit and led toward places that could not yet hold you. Even your unanswered hopes have had a purpose. They have been teaching you what you truly value, what you are ready to receive, and what you are still learning to release. The shape of your desires has been changing, becoming clearer, more honest, more in harmony with who you are becoming. This is the hidden work of destiny, refining not only your circumstances but your heart. There are connections in your life that were delayed so that they could meet you when you were strong enough to recognize them. There are opportunities that were kept at a distance until your inner world was ready to step into them without fear. What feels like absence has often been timing in disguise. You may have wondered why some chapters closed without explanation, why some goodbyes came without proper endings. But endings do not always need answers to be meaningful. Sometimes they are simply doorways, quietly turning you toward a wider horizon. You were not being taken away from something, you were being led toward something more fitting. Even the challenges you did not choose have been shaping you. They have been giving you depth, resilience, and a kind of wisdom that cannot be learned in comfort alone. They have been teaching you how to listen, how to wait, how to trust, the small inner voice that knows when it is time to move and when it is time to remain still. All of this has been happening without rushing you, without forcing you, without breaking you. The movement of destiny is gentle. It does not push. It invites. It does not demand. It prepares. And now you are beginning to arrive at a moment where these quiet arrangements start to make sense. You may not yet see the full picture, but you can feel the coherence forming. Things are beginning to align in a way that feels both new and strangely familiar, as if you are finally stepping into a room you have visited in your dreams. Trust that what has been unfolding is not random. Trust that the delays were as meaningful as the advances, and the detours as important as the straight roads. Your life has been guided with care, even when it felt uncertain. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are precisely where the next opening can reach you. So breathe, my dear one. Let yourself rest in this knowing. The unseen movements have been working in your favor, and they are not finished yet. What is coming has been prepared with you in mind, and you have been prepared for it in ways you are only now beginning to understand. My beloved, there comes a moment in every life when the path quietly divides, not with signs and loud announcements but with a gentle inner question that will not go away. You are standing in such a moment now. You can feel it in the way your thoughts circle back to the same themes, in the way your heart grows thoughtful when you imagine the future, in the way something inside you seems to be waiting for your permission to move forward. This is not a dramatic crossroads, and yet it is one of the most important you will ever stand upon. One direction feels familiar. It is made of habits, routines, and expectations that you already know how to carry. It is comfortable, not because it is perfect, but because it is known. The other direction feels quieter and less defined, yet it holds a subtle sense of aliveness. It does not promise ease, but it offers honesty. It does not guarantee certainty, but it invites growth. You have been standing between these two for longer than you realize, listening to them both speak in different ways. The familiar path does not argue. It simply reminds you of what you have already built, of what you already understand, of what feels safe, because it has been walked before. There is nothing wrong with this voice. It has protected you, it has helped you survive. But there is another voice, softer, more patient, that does not speak of survival but of becoming. It does not tell you what you must do. It asks you who you are ready to be. This is the true turning point, my dear one. It is not about one single decision but about the direction of your devotion. Will you continue to give your energy to what keeps you comfortable, or will you begin to give your attention to what helps you grow? Both choices will shape your days, but only one will expand your life. You may feel a hesitation, a gentle resistance, a list of reasons forming in your mind for why now is not the right time. These reasons often sound practical and wise, and sometimes they are. But sometimes they are simply the language of fear, trying to sound reasonable. Fear does not always shout. Often it whispers. It tells you to wait just a little longer, to prepare just a little more, to stay just a little closer to what you already know. And before you realize it, waiting becomes a way of living. Understand this with kindness toward yourself. You are not weak for feeling this. You are human. You have learned to be careful with your heart. You have learned that change can hurt. But you have also learned, deep inside, that staying the same when your soul is asking for more creates a quiet ache that does not go away. Delaying a turning point does not stop it from existing. It only makes it heavier to carry. The questions will keep returning. The restlessness will keep visiting. The sense that something more is calling you will not fade, because it is not coming from outside you. It is rising from within you. This does not mean you must rush. This is not a demand for impulsive action. It is an invitation to honest recognition, to admit first to yourself that you are ready for a different way of being. To admit that the life you are becoming cannot be fully lived through the patterns of the past. You might be afraid of making the wrong choice. You might be afraid of disappointing others, or even of disappointing the version of yourself that worked so hard to get here. But remember, growth is not a betrayal of who you are. It is a continuation of who you are. The turning point is not a cliff. It is a doorway. You do not have to leap. You only have to be willing to open it. Begin by listening more closely to what brings you a sense of quiet rightness, even if it also brings uncertainty. Begin by noticing where your energy naturally wants to flow, and where it only goes out of habit or obligation. Begin by asking yourself not what is easiest, but what is truest. Every great change in a life begins this way, not with a dramatic event but with a gentle inner decision to stop living only on the surface of things. You are not being asked to abandon everything you know. You are being invited to let it serve you, rather than define you. Trust that you will not be asked to take a step without the strength to take it. Trust that clarity will come as you move, not only before you move, and trust that choosing growth does not mean choosing struggle. It means choosing a deeper alignment with who you really are. You are at a turning point, my precious soul, not because you have failed at the old way, but because you have outgrown it. And what awaits you on the other side of this choice is not a smaller life, but a wider one, patiently waiting for you to say yes. My beloved, there is a quiet and sacred moment that comes before every true new beginning, and it is the moment of gentle release. It is not dramatic and it is not loud. It feels more like setting down a heavy bag you have been carrying for so long that you forgot what it feels like to have free hands. You have been strong for a long time. You have held many things together. You have carried responsibilities, memories, roles, and expectations with great devotion. But now, your soul is asking for room to breathe. There are habits that once kept you safe but now keep you small. There are patterns of thought that once helped you survive, but now quietly limit how much light you allow into your days. There are identities you learn to wear because they were needed at the time, even if they never fully fit who you truly are. Releasing these is not a rejection of your past. It is an honoring of how far you have come. You may feel a strange tenderness when you think about letting go. Even what hurts us can feel familiar, and familiarity can feel like safety. There are parts of your life that you have outgrown, but they have been with you for so long that they almost feel like a companion's. Saying goodbye to them can feel like losing something, even when you know deep down that keeping them costs you more. Understand this, my dear one, making space is an act of love. When you clear a room, you are not emptying it for the sake of emptiness. You are preparing it to be filled with something that belongs there now. When you release an old story about who you are not erasing yourself. You are allowing a truer story to be written. Some of what you are being invited to release is not visible. It lives in the way you speak to yourself, in the way you expect disappointment before hope, in the way you brace for loss even in moments of peace. These inner habits have been trying to protect you. Thank them for their service, and then gently let them rest. There may also be relationships, situations, or commitments that no longer resonate with the direction your life is turning. This does not mean they were mistakes. It means they were part of a chapter that has reached its natural completion. You are allowed to honor what was and still choose what is next. You do not have to release everything at once. True transformation is kind. It happens in small, honest steps, a single boundary, a single new choice, a single moment of choosing yourself where you once chose only endurance. These small acts create space in ways that are deeper and more lasting than sudden, dramatic changes. As you begin to make this space, you may notice a feeling of uncertainty, like standing in a room that has just been cleared and not yet redecorated. This in-between can feel vulnerable, but it is also full of quiet possibility. It is the pause between exhale and inhale, where new life begins to gather. Trust that what is leaving is not taking your future with it. It is making room for it. The universe of your own becoming cannot fill a cup that is already overflowing with yesterday. Be gentle with yourself in this process. Some things will take time to release. Some will come off easily, like coats you did not realize you were still wearing. Others will feel more woven into your sense of self. When this happens, do not force. Simply notice. Simply acknowledge. Awareness itself loosens knots. You might be surprised by how much energy returns to you as you let go. How much clarity, how much lightness, how much quiet joy. The space you create is not only around you, it is within you. Remember, my precious soul, you are not becoming less by releasing. You are becoming more available to your own life. You are becoming more honest, more present, more aligned with what you are ready to live now. Let this be a season of gentle clearing, not with judgment, not with harshness, but with gratitude for what was, and with open hands for what is coming. You are not emptying your life. You are preparing it, and what is preparing to enter needs the space you are bravely, lovingly creating. My beloved, as you walk through this season of change and gentle releasing, I want you to know this with a certainty that goes deeper than thought. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Even in the moments when you felt unseen, even in the hours when you wondered if anyone truly understood the weight you were carrying, you were being accompanied by a presence that does not abandon and does not forget. You are held in a guidance that is quieter than noise but stronger than fear. There is a kind of protection that does not look like walls or shields. It looks like subtle redirections. It looks like delays that save you from unseen exhaustion. It looks like sudden clarity that arrives just before a wrong step. It looks like a calm that settles in your chest when you are about to choose what is right for you, even if it is not easy. This protection has been woven through your life in ways you may only now be beginning to recognize. Think back, my dear one, to moments that could have gone differently, to times when something stopped you or turned you around or gently closed a door you were certain you needed to walk through. At the time, you may have felt disappointed or confused. Now with a little distance you can see how some of those closed doors were acts of care. You were being guided away from what would have drained you and toward what would eventually sustain you. Guidance does not always arrive as a clear voice or a perfect sign. Often it comes as a feeling in the body, a quiet knowing in the heart, a sense of rightness or wrongness that does not need long explanations. You have felt this before. You have known without knowing how you knew. This is not imagination. This is your inner wisdom, and it has been carefully cultivated by every experience you have lived. You might sometimes doubt your ability to hear this guidance, especially when your mind is full of worries or your emotions are tired. But guidance does not disappear when you are tired. It becomes softer, waiting for you to slow down enough to notice it. It is patient with you. It does not demand perfection, it only asks for your attention. Protection also comes through the people who appear in your life at just the right time, the ones who offer a word, a smile, or a perspective that changes something inside you. It comes through moments of unexpected support, through strength that rises in you when you thought you had none left, through the simple fact that you are still here, still breathing, still becoming. There have been times when you were stronger than you realized, guided more clearly than you understood, and protected more thoroughly than you could see. You did not get here by accident. Every step, even the painful ones, has been accompanied. When you feel uncertain now, when the path ahead seems unclear, remember that clarity often comes one step at a time. You do not need to see the whole journey. You only need to take the next honest step. The guidance you need will meet you there just as it always has. You are allowed to ask for reassurance. You are allowed to pause and listen. You are allowed to rest in the knowledge that you are being watched over with great tenderness. This does not mean nothing difficult will ever happen. It means that nothing will happen without you also being given the strength, the insight, or the support to meet it. Your intuition is not something separate from you. It is part of your deepest self, the part that remembers who you are beneath all the noise and all the expectations. The more you honor it, the clearer it becomes. The more you trust it, the more confidently it guides you. There is a gentle companionship around your life, a steady presence that does not rush you and does not leave you behind. It walks at your pace, it waits when you need to rest, it encourages when you are ready to move. So when doubts arise, do not fight them with fear. Meet them with remembrance. Remember how many times you have been carried through what you thought you could not survive. Remember how many times answers arrived after you thought none would come. Remember how many times you found your way, even when you were sure you were lost. You are protected, my precious soul, not in a way that removes your freedom, but in a way that honors your journey. You are guided not like a puppet, but like a beloved traveler whose steps matter. Let yourself feel this reassurance settle into you. Let it soften your shoulders. Let it quiet your breath. You do not have to do everything alone. You never have. And you never will. My beloved, there comes a sacred moment when you begin to remember yourself, not as the world has described you, not as your fears have defined you, but as you truly are beneath every layer of expectation and doubt. This remembering does not arrive with noise. It comes like a quiet sunrise inside your chest, slowly revealing what has always been there. You are stronger than the stories you have told yourself about your limits. You are wiser than the mistakes you have used as proof that you should stay small. You are more capable than the hesitation that has tried to protect you from disappointment. Look at how far you have already come. There were seasons you thought would break you, and yet here you are, still breathing, still hoping, still carrying a heart that knows how to care. You have adapted, learned, and endured in ways that deserve deep respect. Even when you felt lost, you were still moving. Even when you felt weak, you were still becoming. This is not an accident. This is the quiet evidence of your strength. For a long time, you may have been living in a version of yourself that was shaped by necessity. You learned to be careful. You learned to be agreeable. You learned to carry more than was fair. These were not failures. They were skills you developed to survive and to belong. But now, something within you is asking for more than survival. It is asking for expression. It is asking for honesty. It is asking you to step into the fuller shape of who you are. You are not here to simply endure your life. You are here to inhabit it, to bring your presence, your perspective, your unique way of seeing and feeling into the world. There is something in you that has never been repeated and never will be. Your experiences, your sensitivities, your questions, your dreams, all of these form a pattern that only you can offer. The world does not need you to be smaller or quieter or more convenient. It needs you to be real. As you begin to awaken to this, you may notice a gentle shift in how you hold yourself. You may start to speak with a little more truth. You may begin to choose with a little more courage. You may feel a new respect for your own time, your own energy, your own boundaries. This is not selfishness. This is self-honoring. It is the foundation of a life that is lived from the inside out. There is a resilience in you that has been quietly growing through every challenge. It is the part of you that kept going when it would have been easier to give up. It is the part of you that still believes in possibility, even after disappointment. It is the part of you that is willing to begin again. This resilience is not loud or dramatic. It is steady, it is faithful, it is one of your greatest strengths. You may still carry doubts about whether you are enough, whether you are ready, whether you deserve the life that is calling you. But readiness is not something you wait for until you feel perfect. It is something you discover by stepping forward while you are still learning. Worthiness is not something you earn by being flawless. It is something you remember by being honest. Your purpose is not a single task or a distant achievement. It is the way you bring yourself into each day. It is the way you choose to grow, to listen, to contribute, to love in the ways you can. As you become more aligned with who you truly are, your path will begin to feel less like a struggle and more like a conversation between your inner truth and your outer world. There will be moments when you outgrow people, places, and even versions of yourself. This is not a betrayal. It is a natural movement of life. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to expand. You are allowed to want more depth, more meaning, more authenticity than you once did. Confidence, my dear one, is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move with honesty, even when fear is present. It is the willingness to trust yourself enough to take the next step, even when you cannot see the whole staircase. Each time you do this, you strengthen the relationship you have with yourself. You are in the process of becoming more fully yourself, not someone else, not a perfected version, but a truer one. This is the real awakening. It is not about escaping your life, it is about finally inhabiting it. Hold this truth gently and firmly. You are needed as you are becoming. Your voice matters, your presence matters, your growth matters. And the life that is opening before you is not asking you to prove your worth. It is inviting you to live it. My beloved, we arrive now at a quiet place, not an ending but a soft threshold where breath becomes promise. You have listened, and something within you has listened back. Let that be enough for this moment. You do not need to rush forward or look behind. Simply stand here, feeling the steady ground beneath your feet and the open sky within your chest. What you have received is not heavy, and it is not fragile. It is a living warmth meant to travel with you. Hold it gently, as you would hold a candle in calm air, and notice how naturally it keeps shining. Carry this knowing into your ordinary hours, into small choices and quiet pauses. Let it remind you to speak kindly to yourself, to move with patience, to return to your breath when the world feels loud. You are not being asked to become someone else overnight. You are being invited to keep becoming one honest step at a time. If doubt visits, greet it without fear, and let it pass like a cloud. If courage arrives, welcome it without pride, and let it guide you like a lantern. Stay with this message, and let it stay with you. There will be days when clarity feels near and days when it feels distant. Both are part of the same journey. Trust that even when you cannot see the path, you are still walking it. The next right step often appears only when you are already moving, so move gently, with respect, for your own pace. You are not late, and you are not early. You are exactly where the opening can meet you. Breathe, and let your shoulders soften. The way forward does not require strain. It asks for sincerity, and you already have that. Make a quiet commitment to yourself, not with pressure but with tenderness. Promise to listen when your inner voice grows calm and clear. Promise to rest when you are tired, and to begin again when you are ready. Promise to choose what brings a sense of honest rightness, even when it is unfamiliar. This is not a contract with perfection. It is a friendship with your own becoming. Each time you keep this promise in a small way, you strengthen the path beneath your feet. When uncertainty returns, remember the many times you were carried through what once seemed impossible. Remember how answers found you after you stopped forcing them. Remember how strength arrived after you admitted you were weary. These memories are not just stories. They are evidence. Let them steady you. Let them remind you that you are accompanied, and that the support you need often arrives in the shape of simple, quiet help. Choose courage that feels like kindness rather than urgency. Choose faith that feels like rest rather than tension. Choose trust that feels like an open hand rather than a clenched one. You do not have to prove anything to move forward, you only have to be willing to receive the next moment as it comes. If you stumble, pause. If you succeed, remain humble. In both, keep your heart open. The journey honors openness more than it rewards speed. Let gratitude become a companion, not as a rule, but as a gentle habit. Notice small mercies, brief beauties, unexpected ease. Let them collect in you like quiet stars. They will light your way when the road seems long, and when you cannot feel grateful, be honest, and be gentle. Even honesty is a form of light. You are allowed to be where you are and still move toward where you are going. Now receive this blessing, precious soul. May your days be guided by calm courage and patient trust. May your nights be held in peaceful rest. May your steps be steady, and your heart remain open. May you remember that you are seen, you are accompanied, and you are deeply loved. Walk on with confidence that feels like warmth. Stay with this message, and let it become a quiet strength within you, today and in the days to come.